What is up, everybody? Hope you are having a fantastic evening. It is time for the NFC North Roundtable. We are going to recap last week's games, look forward to this week's games. Pretty good week overall in division. Got 3 wins. One team did have a loss. We'll see how One Bar feels about that. But don't look now. The Bears actually look like a competent team. Curious to know what everybody's thoughts are of the weekend. We got Bass, we got One Bar, we got Dose, and we got Nick in the building. Fellas, so good to see you. Last week I lost power about 10 minutes in, so let's hope that we can get a good, clean show this week. And the best way to start is we just got to get the loss out of the way. You know, this is how we do things. So One Bar, we're here for you. This is your therapy session. You guys lose to the Eagles 28-22. You got a quick turnaround this week. We'll talk about that later. But talk to me about this Eagles game. I will say this. The one thing that stood out to me, One Bar, was you guys have had such an exotic, fun, good defense. Jalen Hurts passing like he was, I don't know, Joe Montana out there was a pretty interesting watch. So talk to me about what you saw in this game.
I saw a bunch of crap. That's what I saw. It was brutal. There's nothing worse than losing to, there is something worse, losing the Eagles, but it was tough, man. I mean, here's the worst part is if you were to look at this afterwards and see that the Vikings, you know, they had more total yards. They had the ball for like 10 minutes longer than the Eagles. They punted once. They were sackless. They had less penalties. Barkley had like under 50 yards. Like there's no reason you would think the Vikings lost this game, yet that's exactly what they did. And they lost the game. And Hurts, the dude went off. Smith was, I mean, he had a big, long touchdown. AJ Brown, they both went off and had huge games. But the sad part is, even with that, like the Vikings still should have won this game, and it's infuriating. Good teams don't lose these games, which and I'll talk about that more. Like Vikings land right now, it's a little bit of a mess, and we'll see how things pan out. But I mean, the offense, it comes down to the offense, and we're stuck in this land of Carson Wentz for now. And Carson Wentz, you know, I don't want to say that he single-handedly lost this game, but I think Carson Wentz single-handedly lost this game. It was tough to watch. You would expect a veteran like him to come in, and the hope is just like, you know, just don't do anything overly boneheaded. Throw the ball away. Take a sack if you have to. Don't take stupid penalties. Get to the line fast. And we're seeing the opposite. It's brutal. I mean, we left a handful of touchdowns out on the field. Jordan Addison should have had one in the first half. C.J. Ham was wide open for another touchdown as well. Justin Jefferson had a touchdown, and it just was not happening. The Vikings were 1 for 6 in the red zone. Will Reichert had like 14 field goals. It was very painful to watch. I would rather lose by 50 points and get the shit kicked out of us than lose a game like this where you look back and it's just so frustrating as far as what's going on. And Kevin O'Connell, I mean, he's not getting a pass either. The play calling has just been not great. You get inside the red zone, you're 1 for 6. You refuse to run the ball. You got Jordan Mason, who's averaging 4.5 yards a carry this season, and he's not getting over 15 carries a game. 3rd and 1, you're not running the ball. It was everything. The Vikings, honestly, it's painful to say, they deserve to lose this game. And until Carson Wentz is off the field, I mean, we got the Chargers coming on the quick turnaround here, but it's not like confidence is high. This dude needs to throw it less than 25 times this week so the Vikings get a chance. So J.J. McCarthy sounds like he'll be back against the Lions. Dose, I hope you're shaking in your panties. But we need that guy out there sooner than later. And not that he's going to be a savior by any means, but we need anything but Carson Wentz out there. I think, Nick, you could have suited up, played quarterback for the Vikings. They would have had a better chance to win. It was painful to watch. It was painful to watch. They should have won this game. And they lost. Burns my ass. I'm still crabby about this. And it's what, 3 days later?
Hey, listen, I hear what you're saying about Carson Wentz. I mean, you expect your backup quarterback to come in and kind of be a guy that makes no mistakes and doesn't try to play hero ball. But Kevin O'Connell does this thing where, and you talked about it, you alluded to it, he gets pass happy, man. He really does. And I think Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, but he does get a little pass happy and abandon the run at times, no matter who's playing quarterback. The question is, though, and you made a comment, hey, we got to get Carson Wentz out of there. Are we sure that it's better with J.J. McCarthy? Like, is that I mean, I understand you want to see the development, but like JJ McCarthy playing against the Eagles, I don't know that necessarily would have resulted in a win either.
No, but the games McCarthy was out there, they were a lot more conservative at that point, where they maybe forced their hand to run the ball. And trust me, I am not saying JJ McCarthy being out there would have won that game. But like when you look at it where the Vikings are at right now, like if Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback and let's say the backup was Max Brosmer, undrafted free agent, right now Vikings would be like, okay, maybe we win 6 games. I mean, that's where they're at right now with Carson Wentz. The thing with getting McCarthy out there is what you said. It's the development, it's to see what we got and just bring some sort of spark to this team. Because Carson Wentz, I mean, he beat the Browns. He's had some moments, but there's nothing to gain from him being out there at this point. Zip. Like if he was coming out there and making smart plays, I mean, the intentional grounding at the end of the game, the not hurrying up, not getting a play out before the 2-minute warning, that's stuff you'd expect from JJ McCarthy. Like I would expect him to do it. And if he did it, it'd be like, all right, fine. He's a rookie. We'll get through this. Not 50-year-old Carson Wentz. That's the most painful part. Like get McCarthy out there, see what we got. We have no idea what we got.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, at least the development part is happening and you can find solace in that. So talk to me about that defense though. You know, Hurts, like I said, he went out there, he kind of passed all over the yard. Are you worried at all about this defense? I looked at it and was like, okay, they're coming off the bye. They're getting a lot of players back. Like this defense should be ready to rock and roll. And then all of a sudden Hurts just like, oh, this is the week where we're going to figure out how to pass the football. What do you make of that?
It was weird because the Vikings are actually ranked. I mean, as far as passing yards a game, I think they're like top 5. They've been very good. Isaiah Rodgers has been phenomenal. Byron Murphy has been very good. The safety play has been good. We got Blake Cashman back. So it's funny. We kind of traded. We've been giving up the run all year. We stuffed the run. Barkley gets 45 yards, and all of a sudden we give up 1,000 yards in the air, and Jalen Hurts is a perfect passer rating. It was weird. I'm not worried about it until it becomes a theme. Justin Herbert, I know he's going to be slinging that thing around on Thursday, so we'll see. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried yet. This happens 2-3 more times, I'll get a little concerned. But the funny part, they were so wide open. Like it was just like guys were damn near falling over. These guys were just waving at everybody as they're going to score their 5th touchdown. Not worried.
Not worried. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it becomes a trend, but you're not worried. Nice thing is you get the stench of the loss off your clothing if you can win on Thursday night. That's the great thing about a Thursday night football game. All right, Nick, we got to come to you, man. Your Bears are freaking red hot. A couple wins before the bye week. They come out of the bye. They get another freaking win. And looking good, man. They beat the Saints 26-14. I don't know. Are you growing out the hair? Is this a thing? Is this like until you lose, that hair is getting grown out? Or am I misreading this situation here? What's up?
Honestly, didn't think about it like that, but I have not gotten a haircut and they've been winning. So we're going to keep riding that out for sure. So that just got confirmed on this show. No, and also I rode home on a bicycle from work and it's like 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Chicago right now. So crazy hair, but I'm feeling crazy about this team, man. I mean, they're a lot of fun to watch right now. They're very locked in, to say the least. I mean, Dennis Allen last week let the Saints only have 44 rushing yards. And I know the Saints aren't the greatest team in the NFL, but the fact that the defense has bounced back the way they have, it's pretty darn impressive. I mean, 3rd overall in total yards since week 3 allowed. So they're pretty locked in from that perspective. Number 1 in takeaways with 16 through 6 games. They have the interception leader overall with Kevin Byard and Tremaine Edmonds. So this Bears defense, after that horrible game against the Lions, really did a great job at bouncing back. And that's what I'm most excited about right now. The offense wasn't really the star of the show this past week because of how well the defense did. That being said, DeAndre Swift has gotten red hot. And I hate that he's on the injury report right now dealing with a groin injury, but he has been the last couple of weeks. So trying to be cautiously optimistic about it. But the Bears running attack really got going. Kyle Monungai, our rookie that we brought in the 7th round, finally got going as well. So this Bears team looks pretty locked and loaded at the moment. Good to see that Caleb Williams, even though he threw an interception, still had an okay game, didn't make any further mistakes. And it was raining, it was windy, it was cold. So that was his first game in that kind of weather, kind of giving him benefit of the doubt right there. I know I couldn't do it. I know I could be a quarterback for the Vikings according to one bar, but couldn't do what Caleb Williams did this past week at Soldier Field. But overall, offense looked really solid from a running perspective, finally establishing it back-to-back games with over 100 yards rushing from DeAndre Swift. 220 total between running back 1 and 2 and Monangai and Swift. Got Loveland going too. That's been a big topic of conversation, is when is he going to go? So the Bears overall locked in. I will say, though, drops have been a big issue. Roma Dunze with 3 drops. Cole Kmet with 2 drops before leaving with a back injury. He's out as well. But really excited about a 4-game winning streak going to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson was limited today, so kind of monitoring that one. And Ben Johnson said, listen, we're preparing if he's there or not. So good stuff for the Bears overall, and I'm feeling pretty confident, much more confident than I would have been entering this week. Not guaranteeing a win, but teams giving Chicago a lot of confidence right now.
Well, talk to me about Ben Johnson. There was a clip that went viral of him this week, basically showing no emotion after a big play, and a lot of people had some issue with that, some exceptions with that. I've seen him in the locker room after the game. He gets pretty fired up, but Ben Johnson, man, doing a heck of a job early on. How happy are you with this coaching staff and the direction really of the whole team right now? I mean, it's got to feel pretty good that you guys, win, lose, or draw, you're certainly seeing some growth out of this team. How is that making you and the Bears fans feel?
Oh, dude, the growth is it's astronomical. And the culture is so shifted. I mean, you look at him in the locker room after Bears wins. The Bears were 4-2 after 6 games last year. And you could just see the team was they knew cameras were in the room for social media or whatever they're going to post about. And they're like, yeah, we're doing really well. This team is mosh pitting Dennis Allen after games, a guy that doesn't also show a lot of emotion. But it truly shows that Ben Johnson is totally just focused the entire time. He doesn't let any outside noise distract him. He's like, this game is not over till the whistle blows, till I see zeros on the clock. And that's what I really like about his coaching style. And that's what this Bears team needed as well. So he's doing a really good job at just showing that how serious he is, building the culture, wanting to be better. And that's what this Bears team needed overall. And I like what he's done with his staff too. It's not just everyone's going to him. Dennis Allen got a ton of credit, as he should, with how well the defense played against the New Orleans Saints. That was a revenge game for him. And the guys, they played with a lot more intensity this past week because they knew that was Dennis Allen's old team. That's the team that fired him. And they wanted to let it be known how grateful we were to have him and how much of a mistake it was to fire him. That, I'm not saying that's because he could not do offense for anything. Some guys are meant to be coordinators in this league. Dennis Allen is meant to be a defensive coordinator. So the culture has just shifted. The guys are playing so much harder. The team is actually playing like NFL players. Everyone that is getting paid is living up to their contracts now, minus maybe 1 or 2. But the entire just culture shift has been there, and these guys don't give up till the clock strikes 0. And that's what's different during this 4-game winning streak, because you kick the crap out of the Dallas Cowboys, only team to keep the Cowboys under 17 points this season so far with that high-powered offense. And along with that, too, they get the awesome clutch win digging deep against the Raiders. They didn't give up on themselves even when they were in the position where they practically were about to lose. Going against the Commanders, obviously, winning a very high-intensity game, a lot of emotion, a lot of pressure from outside sources. And then, this past week against the Saints, just dominating them. So the Bears team is learning to win in all ways, and that's what's really awesome about what Ben Johnson and the culture has done. And I don't see any signs of it stopping. I'm not saying there aren't going to be any bumps in the road. There are going to be. I don't see the Bears winning out the rest of the season. Would be great if they did, but there's probably going to be a loss or a few more in there, and we need to accept that. But right now, what they're doing is they're building that winning culture, and that's all that matters right now.
Bass, I see you shaking your head. Definitely yes to the losses. A lot more in there. I see where you're going with that one.
At least we don't have any ties.
Ty's keeping us at the top of the NFC right now. And by the way, switch me and Dion because that's a little wrong right there.
No, it looks good. It looks good. Hey, Bass, I do have the power to move it back. See, this is
you should just be the bigger man. Do it.
I'm in the wrong spot still, by the way.
I didn't realize that we had spot. There we go. All right. Is this how it's
what
supposed
they all
to be?
want. Give the people what they want.
Perfect. All right. Listen, well, let's talk about the Packers, Bass, because it's interesting. The Packers are.
Oh
no,
they're great. That's what they are.
Because did it again.
Finish your sentence. They are great. They're at the top of the NFC. They're at the top of the NFC North.
Not Jesse. Not Jesse. He's got to get his Wi-Fi fixed, please. Here we go again.
He's in awe. Look at him. He's in awe at how well they're playing.
Look at that statue going, wow.
Wow, look at that. Jordan Love, 179 yards passing. But yeah, I'll just get it started. So a lot of people, they look at the Green Bay Packers and they're like, they don't agree with them being at the top of the NFC North. They don't even agree with them being the top of the NFC because they're like, well, they're barely getting by these good teams, right? Or against these teams. Oh, now it's all him. Oh, now it's not him. Okay.
That was not the play. I'm gonna be honest.
That was not the play.
Trying to do a little direct mode there. I was like, I'm gonna zoom in on Bass.
Nah, I got that. Then we're gonna be all messed up.
We're gonna figure this out. This is
okay.
This is on me. I'm gonna get this right.
You're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna keep talking.
So
a lot of people. There we go. A lot of people are looking at it like, they only beat the Cardinals by 4 points, but in the same breath, you have the Indianapolis Colts beat them by 4 points. You have the Seattle Seahawks beat them by 3 points. And the 49ers beat them by 1 point. And the NFC teams, both top 6 in the NFC, and the AFC team is the top team in the NFL, beat them by the same amount of points. But we don't hear that argument against the Colts, against the Seahawks, against the 49ers. But we're hearing that against the Packers. And I think that's because, they tied to the Cowboys, right? But that tie is helping them right now. But overall, there's still a lot to clean up. But at the end of the day, if the Packers are getting ugly wins, I'll take that every day of the week. Getting wins on the board is very, very important at the beginning of the season. It's not about your quality of play in September and October. It's about how you finish it in December, into January, and then hopefully into February. So just wanted to start off by saying that. Now, saying all of that, there are still a lot of issues with this Packers football team. I think primarily right now on offense. I think play calling has been put into question a ton. A lot of lateral stuff, a lot of screen, like orbit motion, swing passes on a 3rd and 1, where it seems like Matt LaFleur is kind of tries to be the smartest guy in the building rather than just say, hey, it's 3rd and 1. We'll run it up your gut 2 plays in a row and stop it because the numbers are favoring that. And I feel like he has to get more into that. Stop with the shotgun on 3rd and 1 consistently. Stop with these outside runs on 3rd down consistently. And I think he has to just trust Jordan Love. Love shouldn't be 19 for 29, 179 yards. Now, given in that first drive, Love did miss a throw. He missed Romeo Doubs on that deep post. He's got to be more consistent with the deep ball, and he's got to hit his wide receivers. But outside of that, I think Matt LaFleur just simply has to trust Jordan Love a little bit more. It feels like he's kind of under a handcuff here. And I feel like the Packers offense is getting pulled or getting held back by it a tiny bit here. Now, run blocking has also kind of been a problem, but one thing that's huge for the Packers is Josh Jacobs being able to play in this game. Kind of entered the week with a calf injury and was questionable heading to this game, kind of a game time decision. Luckily, he was able to play because it feels like every time Josh Jacobs gets going, all the Packers' offensive worries go away because then they get into 2nd and manageable, 3rd and manageable. Then they can rotate into more play action and get Jordan Love clean pockets, guys wide open, right? So Jacobs only finished with 13 carries for 55 yards, but he's on a snap count. He, of course, had the 2 touchdowns. And a lot of these excessive or these runs that go for 4 or 5, even greater yardage, he's hit at the line of scrimmage or he's dead to rights in the backfield and he creates something out of nothing. So that's been so great. For the receivers, Romeo Doubs has been like Mr. Consistent for the Green Bay Packers, 6 for 72 in this game. Tucker Kraft's been great for the Packers. He had 58 yards in this game. And then Matthew Golden started out the first drive with 3 receptions and then had 1 more target the rest of the game. I liked the way the game was going for Golden. I just don't like how they kind of transitioned away from that and really didn't go back to him really the rest of the game. For the Packers defense, I still think it was too easy for Jacoby Brissett. Now, I will say he's one of the better backups in the league. And in this game, I really only saw him miss like 2 or 3 throws. He was rather efficient, actually very efficient. There's a point where I think he hit 12 or 13 straight passes, but it was also a byproduct of the Green Bay Packers playing a very soft zone. I feel like they played a ton of cover 2 in this game. The Cardinals were seeing exactly what they're in. They weren't disguising much, and they were attacking the whole shots and simply taking what was given to them. And that's the same thing that happened against the Bengals with Joe Flacco and even the Browns with Joe Flacco. They were giving them the short stuff, and I want them to be a little bit more aggressive because if you're more aggressive, hopefully that helps out your cornerback room that's struggling right now with Nate Hobbs and allows your pass rushers like Micah Parsons to do what he does best, which is what he did in this game. 3 total sacks, and it's honestly a coaching malpractice by the Cardinals, by Gannon, to leave Jonah Williams on an island that many times against Parsons. Like, I don't really know what they were doing there. But, the Packers still have the number 2 run defense in the NFL. They held them in check, 28 carries, 94 yards, 3.4 average. And again, there's still stuff to fix, but this is October football. I think every single team in the NFL has stuff to fix. And I think being in the position that they are 4-1-1 at the top of the NFC North, top of the NFC is a great spot to be in, all things considered, that you have a lot to fix. Like the fact that you have a lot to fix and you're still in that spot, that's very, very promising. So, it's an ugly win, but it's a win. And Lucas Haversick has just been absolutely clutch in the absence of Brandon McManus. Of course, had to finish with giving him a shout out.
Lord.
Well, 2 things real quick. So let's talk about the Josh Jacobs thing, because he had the calf injury. I saw on Twitter when they were like working him out pregame, a lot of fans are like, yo, we've seen way too many Achilles injuries. Can we just let him sit out? It's the Cardinals. Obviously he made it through that game healthy, but I can tell you as a 49er fan watching CMC last year with the Achilles thing that came from the calf injuries, and it was just a disaster. And coming off of a season where he's had a lot of touches, like you can see this potentially being an issue. The fact that he played is very encouraging, but pre-game when you saw him working out, were you a little concerned going into that thing, or were you like, hey,
I
just
really
play
didn't
him?
feel that way, because I feel like Jacobs has been a workhorse in that matter, where it's like he doesn't even show any of his injuries. Like you really only hear about it because it's on the injury report. Like if you were to watch him not knowing that, you wouldn't have noticed. And it's great news as well. Like he had limited practice today. He wasn't like a did not participate or even a veteran rest. He had limited today. So that's also great news, because setbacks can obviously happen. No, I'm not worried. I would be worried with other players, but not Jacobs specifically.
And then Micah Parsons, man. I mean, this is exactly why you go out and get a player like this. He essentially ends the game with a huge sack there. Talk to me about him, because numbers are numbers, but the timeliness of how he's playing. I mean, this is a huge boost for this defense. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's finally had that holy crap game. Like he's been good all year. He's the only player with a 490 plus pass rushing grades on PFF. He has one of the highest pressure rate or amounts in the NFL. He's coming off this game, 8 pressures and 3 sacks. So he's been as advertised, right? Maybe he didn't have the sack numbers up into that point, but he affects every single play. He's actually been pretty above average in run defense as well. Coming off this game, a 77.4 run defense grade and 4 total stops. So he's been as advertised for this defense. It allows other guys so much more opportunity. Rashawn Gary got that one-on-one opportunity, created the strip sack. Colby Wooden had a really nice day, but it's not just about what Micah Parsons does statistically. It's about what he's brought to this defense to allow other guys, tons of opportunity as well. He's been great.
Well, before we talk about the Lions and get to you, Dose, Nick, I would love to hear from Donald Trump. I also feel like they're out to get me. With this show in particular, I got sniped again. I don't understand what it is. Can you talk me through that one, man?
Talking about your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi. Thanks.
You are on Joe Biden's Wi-Fi. You're on Gavin Newsom's Wi-Fi. You're on losers' Wi-Fi. You're actually on the Minnesota Vikings Wi-Fi. They're the only losers this past week. I love you, Umbar, but it's
we can't all play the Saints, man. Sorry.
It's okay. You lost to the Eagles, who have been struggling real bad. Don't try to put a cherry on top of it. You lost, loser. Anyway, I think that you need to go to fiber. It's beautiful. You should try it out. Don't go to Starlink, though. I don't like Elon very much. Okay, that's all I got to say. Let's continue with the show, please.
All right, Dose. Let's talk about your Detroit Lions, man. This was a matchup on paper that everybody was waiting for. Now, I know the Lions came into this game with a lot of injuries in the secondary. You had some good receivers coming back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've been red hot. Baker Mayfield, up to this point, was arguably the league MVP. And your Detroit Lions defensively just put on an absolute freaking masterclass in this game. And now you get to head into a bye week. Hopefully some of your big horses come back. Man, you got to be feeling great about this game. And, you lose this game, it puts you back in the division. You're trying to keep pace with the Packers, who you've already lost to. And not only that, you talk about tiebreakers as far as top of the NFC. Like this, the result of this game and beating the Bucs was super, super important and super impressive. Talk me through this one.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to pile on the one bar here, but this is this is everything came together real nice. But this is what I've been comparing it to, is what we did to Minnesota last year when we were playing for the division. That's what we did to Tampa Bay in this game. We came into that one at that point in the season. We were banged up defensively. We were still winning. We were banged up defensively. We have this massive game, and I think we held Minnesota to 9 points. I think it was 31-9. It was something like that.
That's great.
But,
That's wonderful.
So I didn't, you know what, one more. I didn't know that Nick was going to do what he did. You know what I mean? I didn't know that was going to be an addition to his.
You're good. Bring it.
There. Yeah. So I have to do that. But that's what it felt like, because in that game, I remember with Sam Darnold how aggressive they were in coverage, and they just attacked defensively. They kind of threw some things out the window. Like, we're going to bring 6 rushers. We're just going to throw off everything here. And then as a result of that, we also had Darnold starting to miss some passes. And after that game, everybody's like, "Who the heck is Sam Darnold? This guy's trash." Seemed like the Rams kind of picked it up. We're going to do the same thing. And then all of a sudden there's people questioning him, and now he's doing well again. But immediately after this game, the Lions do what they do to Baker, and all over social media, Baker Mayfield can't hit anything. This guy is super inaccurate. Like, what's going on with Baker Mayfield? And it felt that way, where it was the Lions kind of did that. They picked up, and I think this is really good for Calvin Shepard, our defensive coordinator, because the week before against Kansas City, I was upset in terms of, I thought there was occasions in that game where we were just too soft. I thought that we didn't attack Kansas City enough. We played a little bit soft. We understood we were banged up. We had Arthur Maulette played 13 snaps, man. We were hyping him up on the show. The guy played 13 snaps. They weren't even putting him out there. Got to the end of the game, and let's play 3 linebackers against 11 personnel, and you're watching like, dang, they're just dicing us up. We're just sitting in zone coverage. And it's not even just the zone thing for me, though I do still like rotating the man. It's just the fact that they didn't feel aggressive in anything they were doing there. There was no, like, let's crank it up on second down, let's push them back. There was none of that feeling. And I just think as the game rolled along, you got to the point where it's like, they're just finding easy stuff here. In this game, the Lions seemingly kind of reverted back. Like, let's not try that again. That didn't work. Let's get aggressive against these guys, right? We know we're limited in the back end, so we're going to bring it. Lee McNeil's back. Let's get after them. And it didn't mean that every time it was just we're blitzing 6 every play. But it was just the rotation of that becoming kind of like, okay, this is the Lions where you got Baker complaining about there should have been illegal contact, whether he's right or not on certain plays. That's the Lions secondary that I fell in love with. That's the Lions defensive scheme that I fell in love with. Whereas, we talked about it earlier before the season started. I became a man coverage kind of guy. That's what I am now. I love it. Like, hey, they're not going to throw flags every play. I like being that team where it's like you make teams make tight window throws. And it's not the case for everybody, but make them do that, because a lot of teams are living in windows right now. So I just thought overall that it was great to see Calvin Shepard make that quick adjustment. Just a couple weeks ago, I was saying I think he's might be better than Aaron Glenn, and last week happened. But this week, I'm back on the train, man. And it's great because he's young as our defensive coordinator, and like, you're allowed to grow. And I think this is a big growth moment for him specifically. So that's all the standout was from this game. It was getting a little bit healthier on the defensive front. Some of those guys ate up front. The linebackers continue to be really good. I think that's kind of a overlay. I feel like linebackers are kind of difficult at times, unless you're like Edgerrin Cooper, where he's like super athletic, use them everywhere. But it's kind of hard sometimes to tell what they're actually doing. I think outside of just looking at the stat sheet, seeing like 10 tackles. For our defense, though, like Jack Campbell's growth has been big time. Since his rookie year, got a lot of flexibility with him. Alex's flexibility shows up. Derek Barnes, we're using him everywhere now. So I just think we've carried over a lot of stuff, but it was a must that we got after them, and we did, and it worked. Then offensively, we left some stuff out there, but it was the Jahmyr Gibbs game. And I like that they didn't overthink that. They just let Jahmyr Gibbs kind of just go to work. And that's what changed the game. I mean, we've seen games like that before in the past. I remember we played Baltimore in our first year, and it was all DeAndre Swift. It was just like, just throw it to him. Don't overthink it. Just give him the ball. And I thought that's what they did in this game. They didn't overthink it. Give Jahmyr Gibbs the ball, and he's just going to go make enough plays where that's the result. And this was a game where Tampa Bay up front, it's like, you got Vita Vea. He's a problem. He just did some things on his own. But at linebacker, they're not the most athletic. Levante David's probably 72 years old at this point. So, make him tackle in space a little bit. I like the guy. He's a good player, but make him work in space a bit. I just think that they implemented that well to say, okay, let's just test these guys a bit in this game. They really minimized some of the creativity of what Todd Bowles is. It's always a challenge. They still did a nice job defensively. We still weren't that great offensively in this one because we knew we were going to get that challenge. But overall, I feel like the method has always been for the Lions, just simplify it as much as possible. And I think that they at least did that. They beat themselves a few times. They got beat a few times in certain reps, but they did that, and then defensively, it was the star of the show.
Well, talk to me about one huge return that you had along that defensive line. With all the injuries you've had in the secondary, getting a Liam McNeil back had to feel really good before the bye. Talk to me about his game.
Yeah, well, okay, so Lee McNeil played 45 snaps, which threw me. I didn't think he was going to play that much. I didn't think he even played that much watching it live. But I'm going to go out and make this claim. This got to be the best interior defensive line in football. Like, it's got to be the best, like, group of interior defensive linemen. I mean, we legit feel like we have 4 starters there. To walk away from this game, Aleem came in, had 5 pressures. Aleem, he's getting back to himself. It'll take a minute here, but immediately you felt his presence. And look, this was a Tampa Bay team where roster-wise, knowing they were getting healthy at receiver, if there was like a real weakness, it was probably the interior line, right? Cody Miles not there. They're beat up. So it's like, all right, we can maybe blow some things up there. And he did a little bit. But to also add on top of that, the Reader's playing 19 snaps. He has 4 pressures. Roy Lopez played 11 snaps, 3 tackles in those ones. And then on top of that, you have Tyleik Williams, who had a really strong game for a rookie. Like that's feels like it's kind of the strength of this team at this point now, where it's like we have a really nice rotation going there. We may not have the best in the league like at either of those spots, but we do have a very strong rotation where you feel very comfortable. It's not a weakness. I mean, you look at like a team like Tampa, you take out Vea or you just kind of go away from it, and there's certain teams where it's like, okay, you can kind of go at the other guy. For us, I don't feel like that's the case in the inside. We may not have the best piece, but we're definitely well-rounded, and you don't feel a drop-off anytime they have to rotate.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys are on a bye. I do have some questions for you about that bye coming up. But before we get there, we got to talk about our friends over at, and we're going to have to add me back in. There we go. Well, listen, you got to remember I fell out. So, that's all the things that got to change again. So let's talk a little bit about Sleeper. Promo code RTS to get your 100% deposit match. And if you are on the fence about playing Sleeper, now is the time. If you use promo code RTS, you're going to get a free $20 play. You don't even have to make a deposit. Now's the time to play Sleeper. All right, we're going to make a pick from each one of these games. First of all, we're going to take our freebie. This is what I love about Sleeper. You always get a freebie every single week. Jordan Love is that. All he needs is 1 passing yard, and we are winners there. 1 bar, I'm going to ask you, we're going to have to stay away from Jordan Addison because this is a promo as well, and we cannot combine those. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Mason, TJ Hawkinson, Carson Wentz, anything here that's tickling your fancy as far as what you want to play, either more or less?
Gross. I'll stay away from anything Carson Wentz. Let's get crazy and think that Kevin O'Connell will actually run the ball inside the 10-yard line. Let's go Jordan Mason over that half touchdown.
Okay, I absolutely love it. Let's go to your Chicago Bears, Nick. Anything that you're seeing here? DeAndre Swift's on an absolute heater. The Ravens have proven one thing: they cannot stop the run, and I don't know that that's going to get any better. Metabuke is out for the year. Do you think DeAndre Swift can get over that 59.5?
So he's questionable for this upcoming week. If he doesn't play, if we take him, this is another great thing. You have insurance, so it'll just remove that pick. So we're not at any risk here if we take him. What's the other? I see Roma Dunze. Is there any other ones or no?
57.5. Caleb Williams 229.5. DJ Moore 41.5.
I would do the Swift one then because he's been on a heater back-to-back 100+ games.
All right, perfect. Let's do it. And then let's check out. There we go. We got Green Bay in here. We already got Jordan Love Bass, but we need one more. Either Jacobs. We can do a Tucker Kraft touchdown. Romeo Dobbs at 48.5 receiving yards. What do you think?
I would probably probably just go Jacobs touchdown. I mean, it seems like every week he's scoring at least one. I mean, sometimes multiple. There is another option if you were to go like Matthew Golden, 3.5 receptions, I think his line is at, but I think the more certified one's Jacobs.
Okay, let's go with it. We'll drop that entry. We're going to do $10 to win 73. And there we go. It's that easy. All you got to do is use promo code RTS, and you too can play some Sleeper. All right, we're going to have to talk about our friends over at Roto Wire. Let me get this switch going real quick. All right, here we go. Sorry, fellas. Stop the screen here. This is the only thing about StreamYard. I really wish you could share multiple things at once. But here we are. All right. Listen, if you're going to play Sleeper, you might as well also download Roto Wire using promo code RTS and get 15% off. And here's the reason why. Regardless of the app that you use, you can go to Picks and Props. You can go to Daily Fantasy, and you can choose whoever it is that you decide to put your money with. And, well, if my internet was better, then it would show you that you can actually here, let me see if I can do this real quick. It will show you basically an AI version of more or less and who is the hot picks of the week. So essentially, it's going to tell you, hey, these are the picks that you need to make week in and week out. If you're using Sleeper, if you're using, any one of them, DraftKings, what have you, and you'll be able to make picks with the help of Roto Wire. Again, I'm on McDonald's Wi-Fi, so my bad on that one. But if you use promo code RTS, you can get your 15% off. Oh, look at this. Hold on. Let's see if we get it going. And there we go. All right. So here we go. Josh Jacobs, for example, on Sleeper, 63.5 rushing yards. They're saying that he's basically a lock to get the more. You can do, and here's the nice thing too. It based off the meter here, this is their confidence level. So Jackson Dart, for example, they are extremely confident to take the less on 203.5 passing yards. Same thing with Rashee Rice on the receiving yards, and so forth and so on. So as we scroll down here, you can see that the confidence level changes. So I can tell you this right now. I'm using this in my own fantasy picks, and it's doing very, very well. So I highly, highly recommend it. There's no reason to get cute. There's no reason to get fancy. Just let them help you make your picks, especially if you're on the fence. Use promo code RTS to get your 15%. All right, fellas, let's talk a little bit about the games at hand this upcoming week. Thursday night football, one bar. You got the Chargers, who are absolutely struggling right now. That offensive line is a complete mess, brother. So we'll get your opinion on this one in a second. But Dose, we're gonna go to you first, since you're the bye week guy. We'll start with you and make you join in on the fun. Vikings, Chargers, Thursday night football in LA. Who do you have winning this game, and by what score?
Yeah, well, as someone that took the Vikings last week, I saw a video, Lombard. This was disappointing. There was a video of you probably saw it, the top 5 worst passes of the week. And as I'm watching, they're like, all right, Carson Wentz, y'all mentioned they go to 5, Carson Wentz. I'm like, oh, that just happens. Then we go to 4, and still Carson Wentz. Like, we got a problem here. Carson Wentz was every number if you haven't seen the video. It was a great video though, because then the first comment is like, yo, you forgot one. What about that pass where he threw it backwards? Like, hey, that ain't a pass. Like, okay. So actually it was a solid game.
Fair.
I'm gonna say this, man. I think this is a great matchup, to be honest with you. I think this is fantastic. The Chargers are got to be feeling kind of the same way, man. They just kind of fallen off a little bit here. I think they're getting Joe Alt back though. And that entire offensive line has been shaky. So if they get Joe Alt back, maybe it changes some things for them. And I think for both sides, I think Minnesota's felt a little underwhelmed with how they've been in the trenches on both sides so far. Made some big investments over there on the defensive side. I don't know that they felt that. Cashman came back, and one bar was excited about that. So expect that. I would expect that front seven to be better for Minnesota, for Minnesota in this game. But I think this is going to match up really well across the board. And it's going to be a test for those cornerbacks on the outside, because it's been all the noise so far. I think this one ends up being very low scoring. I'm going to go 20-14. Give me the Chargers. Last week, the Vikings let me down, so I'm going to roll Chargers this week.
All right, here we go. Bass, do you agree with those? Or are you going with the Vikings in this one on Thursday night football?
You can't put a gun to my head and make me choose Carson Wentz. I'm not going. I chose the Eagles last week. You guys all were down on him. I'm like, dude, you gotta understand a couple things here. It's Carson Wentz. It's not Sam Darnold from last year. He's just simply not. The Chargers are a weird team. Saying that though, I feel like they're gonna be playing pretty angry. I don't know. I just feel like they need to get a win more than say the Vikings do. I know that sounds silly, but the Chargers, still, in my opinion, have a chance for the postseason. So it's the Vikings, it's kind of hard with this NFC North. They have a ton of offensive talent. I'm just speaking it like it is. Wentz is inconsistent. Although the Vikings do keep the losses close. Kept them close against Pittsburgh and Philly, which are 2 good football teams. So they do keep it close, and I think it will be a close one. I think if Herbert cleans up the interception issue, which is going to be big against Brian Flores defense, and like Deion said, getting Joe Alt back, I think is huge for their offensive line. So I have the Chargers 27-21.
Oh, 2 for 2. Nick, are you going to be nice to one bar here, or are you going to make it a clean sweep?
It's in LA. I mean, both teams, Chargers could go to 500 if they lose, but if the Vikings go to 3-4, that's just you hate to see that. The one thing the Vikings have is that their defense.
Hold on. Do you hate to see that? Really?
No, I don't actually hate to see it. I'm going with the Chargers win on this one. Sorry, one bar.
That was quick. Jesse, I feel like you may have coaxed him into that.
Yeah, sorry.
Just a little.
I feel
bit.
like he was going to be nice with it, and then I just was like, "Are you sure that that's what you want?" He's like, "No, I don't want that. Actually, we're going with the Vikings to lose." All right, no faith, one bar, and I know that you are upset about last week's loss. Can the Vikings turn it around here, man? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean everything everybody's saying is fair. I'm not going to argue that and say, "Oh no, we're better than we have been." I mean, it really does come down to Carson Wentz. We need to go back to kind of the Browns game where it was a lot of quick passes, running the ball, where he did get the dub. He wasn't asked to go out there and win the game. The play calling was much different. It was much more conservative. We got to get back to that. I mean, this is, like I said before, most likely his last game. Carson, go out. He needs to go out on a good note. The Chargers, it's funny because I think the Chargers and Vikings are kind of in the same scenario. The Chargers have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Everybody in LA is kind of like going, what's going on here? This is almost a must win. Chargers are probably looking at this as like a get right game, just like the Eagles just did, and they did get more than right. But the Chargers, I mean, they've been weird. They lost the Commanders. They almost lost to the Dolphins, lost to the Colts. And they're relying very heavily these days on Herbert, like almost too much. The dude put up 420 plus yards last week. So there's going to be opportunity there for the defense to get some turnovers. Herbert has thrown 6 interceptions in the last 5 games. So like I said, there's going to be opportunity there. The Vikings' key to me is run the ball. The Chargers are giving up yards on the ground. I'm going to say it again. Jordan Mason, give him the damn ball. Like, give him the 25 touches back there, which is a win-win. He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, and you're keeping the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands. That's what it's going to come down to. If they're going to do the same play calls like they did last week, where they're getting too fancy and forgetting that Carson Wentz is the quarterback, they're going to lose. And I hate the fact that they're coming off of a loss and they're traveling to LA on a short week. It's like everything's pointing to the Vikings to lose, but I really do. And this is the big old gulp of purple Kool-Aid I had before this. I do think they do squeak out a win. I don't think it's going to be the prettiest win. It's such a must win before we have the Lions coming up after this, where McCarthy will probably be the quarterback. So I think they get very generic on offense, run the ball, and hopefully get a pick or 2 against Herbert and put him in the dirt. So I don't think it's going to be a ton of scoring. I got 2017. Vikings get a win and hopefully get another one in the win column, because Nick or whoever said it, if we get another loss, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly in Minnesota land.
One bar.
All right.
Just like I'm thinking about this. Could this be the last shot for Carson Wentz? Like
Ever
this week?
Yeah, Carson Wentz. If I mean, there's a reason they signed him in late August and he wasn't signed. He's never. I'll say this as a backup quarterback, just hanging out. Like, it's fine to come in a pinch, but like, yeah, he's done. He is done.
Are the Vikings like a lot? Obviously, this is, I feel like it's a straightforward answer, but like, what's your thought on like Danny Jones? Because you guys had him too.
He wanted too much money. And I think they said it at like, what do you end up getting from the Colts? Was it like 17, whatever it was? They basically came out and say we were willing to give him, like, it was a decent amount of money for realistically going to be the backup quarterback. But yeah, it's a big talker in Minnesota land. Like, look what Darnold's doing. Look what Daniel Jones is doing. Darnold was never an option because they were never going to pay him that much money. And honestly, I'm root for that dude. Daniel Jones is one where it's like, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, 14 mil. 14 mil. Seems like a steal right now for the Colts.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. All their chips are in on JJ McCarthy, and he just hasn't seen the field. That's the worst part. It's like this season doesn't even feel real for Minnesota because it's just not legit. We don't have our guy out there, and he might not be the guy. It's just got to see him.
You know what sucks about the JJ McCarthy thing, and I was just kind of thinking of this as you were talking through it. Even if he is super talented, this is now 2 seasons in, and he's just kind of becoming injury prone. It's like, you can be as talented as you want, but if you can't stay on the field, I mean, that's a major, major issue. So the talent and getting better and improving and playing football is one thing. But then there's the other half of it, which is, can you at least stay healthy? And right now, he's not proving that is something that's a part of his game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a big reason why. Like, if this was Carson Wentz or a veteran that's been in the league for 5-6 years, he's out there already. I mean, I know he's got the high ankle sprain. It's an injury that does take a while. Like, they're waiting until this dude is 101%. They're waiting. They've said it. He needs a full week of practice. They got baby gloves on with this guy. Maybe deep down they know, like, this isn't the season. Vikings are not going to be competing, especially. I mean, if McCarthy maybe had not gotten injured, they'd see. But yeah, he needs to get his ass on the field. But I do agree with what the Vikings are doing with where this season is at right now, 3-3. Just wait. Everyone's like, get him out there, get him against the Chargers. Like, they're not going to put him out there on a short week against the Chargers. You might as well wait and get that extra week and a half against the Lions.
Yeah, and I assume that we'll see him the following week against Detroit. All right, let's talk about the Bears at the Ravens. Let's not forget that the Ravens against the NFC with Lamar Jackson are a completely different team, although the Detroit Lions kind of put an end to that earlier this year. Can the Bears do the same thing, traveling to play the Ravens? I assume Lamar Jackson's going to be back. This is not the same Ravens team that has been getting smacked all over the league. I believe they're getting Roquan Smith back and just starting to get healthy at the right time, ready for the Chicago Bears. So who do we have winning this one? Bass, I'm going to go to you first. Bears at Ravens, 1 p.m. time slot. Who do you have?
I'll be pretty quick on this. Chicago's on fire. As much as I hate to say it, they look really good. They get the run game going. That was a huge thing for them last year, even early this year. You're like, hey, they have to get that going with Swift, and then their offense can really start to take off. And now Monangai coming off a good game as well. He might be starting for them. Even if so, I like him at running back. Now, the losses with Lamar for this Ravens team are against Buffalo, Detroit, and Kansas City. So that doesn't really move me too much for the Ravens being a 1-5 team. And then Cooper Rush for the rest. So I can't really sit here and be like the Ravens aren't a good team. I don't think anyone thinks that. Now, he's limited today. I would agree with you that I think he does come back. I think he has to come back, or else they're pretty much writing off the season. So, I believe the Ravens are a completely different team. Obviously, with Lamar, they get the run game flowing. Obviously, with him running the football, Derrick Henry sometimes, would just look a little better with him on the field. So I'm going to go with Lamar, 28-24 Baltimore, but without, I do have Chicago winning that pretty handily, 27-13.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Swift is not Lamar Jackson. Cooper Rush is not Lamar Jackson. So, there is that. Although they have Snoop Huntley back. So, maybe they can throw him out there. Dose, what are your thoughts on this one, man? Who do you have winning this game?
Yeah, it's good to outline that and just remind yourself of who Baltimore has lost to. That said, though, but I'm glad you did that. But no, I like looking at it from the I like looking at it like this, man, because I feel like this is where I get trapped all the time, because I feel that I like, Lamar, though, you know what Baltimore is. Lamar's coming in, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to be just different. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Chicago's going to handle business. I think they're going to handle it. I think they're going to handle it pretty well here, to be honest with you. I think 7+ is this win, and to me, it feels simple as can they push around Baltimore or not? Because Baltimore getting health, that's a big names to get back. Roquan Smith is key. But on that defensive line, now it's just really changing there, right? As we know, when Matabike kind of came out, it's like, okay, they're not great up front here. And they have some young guys in there that you kind of like. They're kind of hold on the edge, and Mike Green's starting now. But this is a team that is just at its simplest, can you just push them around? And that's what Chicago invested in. Now, I know they're kind of weird at left tackle. They sat Braxton Jones. So they're kind of goofy at left tackle. But outside of that, they've invested on the interior line to move people around just like this. This is when this happens. This is a game that Ben Johnson has to be looking at. That's how we have to play. He's played Baltimore many times. Hasn't always went well when Ben Johnson was here. That's how we have to play this team. So for that reason, I think it can be that simple for them. I'm going to take them to win this one, 27-20.
Wow, that's high praise from Dose, because the Ravens, as Bass said, this is a must win for them. They've got to go on a heater there. They got maybe max 2 more losses in them if they want to make the playoffs. Maybe only 1. They've got to really get hot. And if Lamar Jackson's coming back, you would expect that they've got everything into this, coming off of a bye nonetheless. But Dose says, I'm going with the Bears. One bar, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said the whole thing. I mean, they're coming off of a bye. It is a must win. Lamar Jackson's going to play. I would be shocked if he doesn't play, which is obviously a big deal, but it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, the Bears have been running the ball. Whoever is the running back, if Swift isn't going out there, they're going to get yards on the ground. But I think, I've picked the Bears. I want to say three weeks in a row, but I'm gonna put a kibosh to that this time. I think the Ravens come out, and I think they do get the win. I got like 28-17. I think the Ravens are going to come out firing. They got to get a dub.
All right, Nick, One Bar returns the favor. Picks against your Bears. Talk to me. Who wins this one and by what score?
I mean, I'm looking at the Ravens schedule right now and what they've done this year. And yeah, they had the pretty dominant win over the Browns, and that's it. But looking at the Chiefs game, they lost by 17. The Texans game, they lost by 34. To the Rams, they lost by 2 touchdowns. They didn't even put up a touchdown. It was 17-3. So I'm looking at this going like, okay, like without Lamar, this team is powerless. That being said, he was out there today. He practiced with the threes. He didn't meet with the media, which usually the starting quarterback does. And he looked very fragile out there. So I like that Ben Johnson said during his press conference today that they are preparing as if Lamar is playing. And kind of like the guys were saying, like, this is a must win for them. So they're going to do anything they can to have him out there. But also, like, there is potentially the chance for them to have that 1 more loss or 2 more losses in them. And if Lamar hurts that hamstring and he's out for weeks, then the Ravens season's practically is for sure over. So it is a must-win game, no denial about that. But if they want to risk losing Lamar the rest of the season potentially with that hamstring injury, putting him out there, that's up to them. With the Bears, though, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Tyreek Stevenson all did not practice today. Kmet and Stevenson left early last week. If Lamar does play, that's a big factor because he can obviously pass it and run it. And that's our best cornerback right now at the moment out there. And then the rush defense of Baltimore, non-existent. They get Roquan Smith back, who wasn't on the injury report today for Baltimore. That's also a huge factor. But we might not have DeAndre Swift. So Kyle Monangai would have to have a huge game. I am always going to go for the Bears. I don't want the Bears walking into this one too confidently. So I'm going to say that this one is a 21-17 Bears win. I think it's going to be a close one for Chicago. But if we don't have DeAndre Swift, expect a lot of passing from Caleb Williams. And the last time we played Baltimore in Baltimore, there was a lot of young guys that exploded onto the scene that then became part of that 2018 team. And I could see this being like the Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, Kyle Monangai game and like Colston Loveland that really get things going for Chicago. So I think it's going to be a close one. Ravens are going to play their hearts out, but I got the Bears winning this one 21-17.
Ooh, all right. Let's see how this one plays out. Listen, I always say if you like prime time, then you should be a fan of an NFC North team because Sunday Night Football. That's right. Sunday Night Football. Packers, Steelers. We got a big one coming up. I wish this one was in Green Bay. I got to be honest.
No more Green Bay games. We're done with that.
One road game we have a year, Jesse. Come on. You got to let us have at least one road game.
No more.
Gotcha. All right. I'm just, it would
that
be fun to see Aaron Rodgers return to play in Green Bay, but it's going to be fun nonetheless. Packers, Steelers. This one should be a great game. One bar. I'm going to start with you, brother. Sunday Night Football, Packers, Steelers. Who do you have taking this one?
No, this is going to be a great game. You nailed it. I really wish this was in Lambeau, but you know what? Is what it is. I mean, Baz, you said earlier, like Packers have been doing just enough to win. And from your standpoints, yeah, who gives a shit? Like, get the win, move on. But also, like from my standpoint, like when I look at the Packers, especially after Micah Parsons trade, it's like I think they get crap for just winning barely because the expectations are so high. Like to me, for the Packers, it's like they better be in the Super Bowl. Like that, those are my expectations are, and that's tough to say. Like, and I think that's when we see these close wins, it's like, what's going on? Like they should be blowing these teams out. But a win is a win. And the biggest concern for me is like, I mean, Brissett did look, I mean, he is one of the better backups. He looked really good. And Aaron Rodgers has been having a weirdly good season. And to the point where I can't even rooting for the guy. He's a lot better, easier to root for when he's not on the Packers. So I think Rodgers is going to be a problem. I know he hasn't been sacked very many times in the last couple of weeks. It's only been like 2 sacks in the last like 3 weeks or something like that. That will change on Sunday. I fully agree with that, but this is going to be a damn good game. I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers come out. Like his mentality is just like, he's like, this is his Super Bowl. He's going to be coming out there pissing fire. And I am going to just sit back and enjoy the hell out of this. I actually think the Steelers win. I picked every NFC North team last week. And I was really, really accurate except for my own squad, but I'm gonna go against the Packers. I think the Steelers win 24-21.
Wow. Okay. 24-21. Nick, I got to get your thoughts on this one. Can the Packers get it done, or does Aaron Rodgers come back to haunt them?
No, I mean, watching Green Bay last week, they look solid. I think the Packers are going to let it be known, Aaron Rodgers, that chapter is closed and Jordan Love's their new chapter right now. Also having Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is going to put one big hit on Aaron Rodgers, and that's going to be it for him for the game. So I got Green Bay winning this one 27-13. I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to stomp the Steelers.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Bass was nice to me. I was a little bit nice to him, but I was going to say that they were going to win anyway. So yes.
All right. Dose, talk to me, man. Who wins this one on Sunday Night Football, Packers or Steelers?
Yeah, it sounded like a boxing match the way Nick was laying it out, man.
It's gonna murder Aaron Rodgers on the field.
Just take one.
I want him to play bad, but I want him to finish the game.
And look, man, I'm going to be consistent here because of what I said about the Bears and how I think they're going to have to play Baltimore. I feel very similar here with this game. Like, and it's weird because it's the defensive backs for Pittsburgh, which does it for me. I don't trust one of those dudes to try to tackle anybody. And just knowing Green Bay, like if they're going to give the ball to their receivers and get the ball and just make somebody tackle, Josh Jacobs is going to run all over him. I agree with Nick there. I think that's kind of where he was trending there. And then their receivers, like Slay ain't tackling nobody. You know what I mean? I like Slay. Slay's not tackling. He might throw a shoulder and then he'll come out of the game. He's like, I tried one time. That wasn't it. Jalen Ramsey will hit a little bit, but outside of that, I'm buying any of those dudes tackling. It's like, it's Pittsburgh, but they feel kind of soft, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to show up in this game, man. I'm right with you, Nick. I think Packers handle business. Maybe not that lopsided because the Pittsburgh offense has been a little impressive to me so far this season. I haven't expected this, and they still do got a good back, and DK Metcalf's looked awesome. I'll go same similar range, though. I'm going to go 27-19. Give me Green Bay.
19.
Oh, I like this. Okay. So Green Bay, one bar, not so much. We'll see about that.
Okay.
Bass, what are your thoughts, man? What's the score here?
It's like the game of the week, and it's probably the most excited I've been for a Packers game in a very long time, just because I have so much respect for Aaron Rodgers, and for him to come back and do what he's been doing with the Steelers after a very horrible couple of years with the Jets at 41 years old, it's impressive. Saying all that, I hope the Packers absolutely destroy him and he can't do much on offense, but he has been good this year for 41 years old. I mean, 14 touchdowns, 105 quarterback rating. You saw last week, even gave his team a chance on that Hail Mary, still could throw the ball 70 yards. Like, it's absolutely insane. But the one thing, man, is the Steelers don't get anything going on the ground running the football, and the Packers have the number 2 run defense. I think it's going to quite literally be Aaron Rodgers, like he was in Green Bay, playing hero ball the entire game. And if he has to do that and play hero ball, I think, like you guys said, he will be put on the ground a couple times, and Micah Parsons will get home a couple times. I think also the Pittsburgh pass defense is horrible, in my opinion. I think they're the second worst in passing yards. And another thing that they do is they rank 8th in a stacked box, like 29% of the time, almost 30% of the time. And the Packers should be getting back Christian Watson. He said his plan is to play this Sunday. So with Watson and Golden, 2 very fast wide receivers, Steelers potentially stacking the box. I think they might get some 1-1 opportunities on the outside, and we know the Packers love that with Christian Watson. And I think Jordan Love is going to have success throwing the football. He's going to be able to air it out. Now, I do worry about our cornerbacks a bit against DK Metcalf. Nate Hobbs had a horrible game, and I think Metcalf will get his targets in this game, but I think overall, the Packers are going to be too much for the Steelers team to handle. And they're also potentially getting Devontae Wyatt back, which will be huge for this front 7. So as much as I respect Aaron Rodgers, I still have the Packers handling business here in Pittsburgh, 27-21.
Well, this is the type of game we talked earlier about the Packers and style points and all of that. But ultimately, if they can win this one, especially against Aaron Rodgers, I think this is one of those games that kind of can put them in a different trajectory. Not that they're not winning, but just style points wise, I think this one could be huge for them. I'm really looking forward to this game. I don't know that it gets any better than Aaron Rodgers versus the Packers. And we know that Aaron Rodgers, him and Jordan Love seem to have a good relationship, which is cool. Yep. But we know that Aaron Rodgers plays with a chip on his shoulder. He never forgets things like this, and he would love nothing more than to shine in this game and get the win. So this one is not going to be easy by any means. You know, you're going to get his best play for sure. We have a hell of a slate of games. And listen, if you are watching right now, make sure you subscribe. The NFC North Roundtable is the best in the business. You got amazing creators like Bass, Dose, Nick, and One Bar. I'm your host, Jesse. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Enjoy your week 8. We'll talk soon. Much love. Peace.